Okay, so we're just going to show how to create this N and this R from a TrueType font so that you don't rely on remove hidden stitches because that's not a digitizing function. In StitchArtist Level 3, it's very easy. So I'm going to I have my design here because this is the original one. So the original one has a union of the N and the R without the line so that you can send this file directly to your scan and cut, your silhouette, your cutting machine. And then the two satin border stitch, which will stitch this first one. It starts here and stops here. And then this one starts, oops, let's see, this one stops there. So this one needs to start at the top here and then it can stop wherever. And then of course it's going to stitch the second one. So let's create it. I'm going to click on the TrueType, which brings up the varsity team font I have here. And we have the N and the R. So that brings it in. I'm just going to resize it to make it larger. Of course, you want to do it the size you want. Move it over or move the first one over and then overlap the second one on top of it, however you want them. Let me grab them both and just move them a little bit out of the way. Now I'm going to turn off my hoop so I'm not paying attention to any other lines. All right, so I have my N and my R. I'm going to take both of these, select them, and I'm in StitchArtist 3, and there is the button here that says Union. And that takes both of these objects and creates another object that is a union of both of them. So when you click on this, watch what happens. At the bottom, it created the union, which is the N and the R without these guys in it. So if I change this to a different color, just that we can see it, it's red, and I'm just gonna make it a satin border, even though it's not a satin, you can see what it's gonna look like. So this, not as a satin, you'd want this as an applique. This is the shape. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna choose applique, stitch, so change it in applique. The border is set to a satin. I don't want that because I guess you could. No, because then you wouldn't have a satin border going through here. What we're trying to do is get the R on top of the N. So this wouldn't work with a satin border on it. So we're going to turn our border. Normally it comes in at something like the E stitch or I just chose satin border from the other one. I'm going to change it into none, which just does whatever placement lines we choose. So if I'm using my scan and cut, I only need the position stitch because I'm going to cut it and then fuse it into this section. If you're hand trimming and hoop, of course, you're going to want to choose both of those. So I'm going to just choose choose both of them, what the heck. Okay, so we got both of those guys here, and that is my applique. That needs to stitch first. So I'm up here, I'm going to right click on it and say move first, so that there's my applique stitching. It's going to stitch position stitch, tack down stitch. I'm good to go. Now these guys, the N has to be opened up because we want it to not have a satin stitch underneath it. We want the full fabric to be cut, but we don't want the stitches. So in order for me not to accidentally click on these other two options, these other two objects, because if I put my mouse, what I want to do is I want to open this shape up and delete this part of the object. I don't want to accidentally click on the R, and I don't want to accidentally click on the applique. So I am going to use this button here at the top, which is the reverse selection that selects everything else, and I'm just going to lock it so that when I click off, the only thing that I can click on is, I can click on the R all I want, click, 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 nothing happens, but I can click on the N because it's unlocked. Everything else is locked in the hoop. So I'm going to zoom in so I can see what I'm working on. I would like to add a node right here. So I'm going to double click and I'm going to move my mouse cursor right here to double click. The reason I add those two nodes is now I know exactly where I want to break it open. So I'm going to select one of these two nodes and click on my open close button. That changes the open close point from here to here. So I'm going to click on the open close button while that node is selected. That moved the little red dot, and as you see, the shape is now open. So I can double click on these extra nodes here and see how easy it was to remove this section, and I didn't have to reshape anything because I added the nodes there. I'm going to select this design, and I'm going to click on the open button, just so that, or the unlock button, I'm sorry. I can choose both of these guys, change them into a satin border. That's what I want. And now I have control, and this is going to start here and stop here. And this one is going to stop and start way over here, but I'm going to move my little starting position all the way up here so that it's going to stitch my border of the N, and then when it stops at this point, it's going to immediately start on the R. This is going to give you a much cleaner stitch out than using remove hidden stitches, which is going to give you 2 applique pieces, not the single one that you're looking for. Now, if you only have StitchArtist Level 1 or 2, so you don't have that union function, let's do this again. So I am going to go to True Type, or my text here, and I'm going to type in the NR, enter, whoopsie, grab this guy, he's a new design, move him big, move him over to here, select my R, and move him on top the way I want him to. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of this because I need to create 2 things. I need to create this guy, and I need to create this open guy. So I'm just going to go Control C and V so I get 2 of them, and I don't care they're separate. I'm going to combine them afterwards. All right, so, and this one that I'm not working on right now, I am going to simply lock it so that I don't have to accidentally touch it, because the only ones I want to work on is this one. So the first thing I want to do is create the applique, which is basically a union of the 2. So I need to open the N at this point, and open the R at this point and this point, and delete this stuff to create the same shape that's here. Okay, so I'm just basically creating the same thing. So, work on the N first. So that I don't accidentally click on the R, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to lock it. Now I can't touch the R. I'm going to click on the N. Move my mouse cursor on top of the place where I want to open up the N, just like I did before. Double click to add a node. Put it down here at the bottom, double click to add a node, and now select one of those nodes and click on the open button. Move this guy out of the way, double click, double click, double click, double click to delete. Now you're saying, oh, I don't see anything gone. That's because we're looking at the N, we're looking at the R, which is locked. It is all connected. If we chose lock and hide, then you're really not going to see it. However, you still see the object. That's not a good option anyway, okay? So we just have it locked. So now our N is open at these 2 points. Now I'm going to select this N and I'm going to lock it. I'm going to select the R and I'm going to unlock it. Put my mouse cursor at this intersection and double click. Put my mouse cursor at this intersection, double click. I am going to select this node, open my shape, double click to remove these extra nodes that are here, and I'm going to select my, the reason I'm seeing it, that's because the N and R is here. So I was wondering why I couldn't see what I was working on. Anyway, this is the N and the R. So now this N and this R are connected. So they're separate here. So I'm going to unlock this guy so we can see him. And I hid that other guy that was here at the bottom because that's the copy. All right, so now the N and the R are disconnected. So I need to make all these 3 here into one object. So I'm going to select the N and the R together, and I'm going to go to Create menu, go to Outline, and choose to connect outlines. That combined them, even though it doesn't look like here, we can see it at this spot. They're combined into one, and now I'm going to close it, which is going to make that open close point right here. So I'm going to hit the open close button, and I am just going to zoom in to verify that there are not 2 nodes Can you see there's two little nodes right next to each other? So I'm going to get rid of one of them because I only want one node in that corner because it connected it. So now I have one that is the entire outline and it's closed. Now I can select this hole that was in the R, go to create, outline, and choose to combine holes. So now this one is how we created with the union in StitchArtist 3. This was a level 1 or 2 way of doing a union shape. So this one, we can go into our applique, and opposed to it being like it would normally say the E-stitch, we would go into here and choose none. So, and whether we want the fabric and materials, so we'll create this one little shape, and we can select this guy and lock him so that we don't accidentally touch him. Now we're going to take this one. Ugh, man, getting confused here. Now we're going to unlock him so that we can adjust this guy. And just like we did in the last one that we did for the satin stitches, I need to open up my N. Therefore, I'm going to lock my R. And I'm not going to lock and hide it because I still want to see it. I'm going to click on the N, put my mouse cursor on the little line, double click, put on the line, double click, select the node, open and close, move my mouse over here just to see, there it is, and double click to get rid of those. You could also lasso the two, whoops, we don't want this one. The extra nodes, hit the delete key, and I'm not changing it, I'm just moving my mouse, click, hold, and dragging to use a lasso. Okay, I'm not leaving create mode. Now I'm going to select this one and I'm going to hit the unlock button. I'm going to select this design, change it into a satin border just like we did before. I'm going to select this design. I'm going to unlock it so that it is all together. I'm going to select both of these two designs because I don't want to have remove hidden stitches, get rid of anything for me. And I'm going to go to the create design, combine designs, and now it's all one. And I would adjust my start and stop there, this satin border, move the start up to this guy here, and I was able to do this same process in both. This was the original, this is level 3, this was level 2, exact same thing, two different ways of doing it. Hopefully that made sense.